The Security Council will now begin consideration of item 2 of the agenda. Members of the Council have before them document S/2024/961, the text of a draft resolution submitted by the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The Council is ready to proceed to a vote on the draft resolution. I now give the floor to those members of the Council who wish to make statements before the vote. I give the floor to the representative of the United Kingdom.
Thank you, President. The African Union Transition Mission in Somalia, ATMIS, has played an irreplaceable role in Somalia's security and stabilization. In service of that mission, many of its personnel and those of its predecessor, AMISOM, also paid the highest price. I would like to pay tribute today to their bravery and their sacrifice. The resolution tabled for adoption today mandates the successor mission to ATMIS, the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission in Somalia, ALSOM, which will build on ATMIS's achievements to strengthen stability and security in Somalia. It is the culmination of a complex negotiation, and we thank all members of the Council for their collaborative and consultative approach. Throughout negotiations, the Council has remained united in its collective determination to continue supporting Somalia in its fight against al-Shabaab and its efforts to achieve lasting and durable peace and security. This resolution robustly reinforces the Council's support to Somalia. It authorises ALSOM to support Somalia in its fight against al-Shabaab, strengthen Somalia's stabilisation efforts, and enable the delivery of humanitarian assistance. And it prepares the ground for the Council to approve a transformative change to the mission's financing in May 2025, with the first anticipated use of the framework established by Resolution 2719. We look forward to continued Council engagement on Somalia into the new year, with renewal of the al-Shabaab sanctions regime in February, the first round of reporting on UNTMIS and ALSOM due in March, and a strategic review of UNSOS due by 1st of April. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the United Kingdom for their statement. I shall put the draft resolution to the vote now. Will those in favor of the draft resolution contained in document S/2024/961 please raise their hand? Those against? Abstentions? The result of the voting is as follows: 14 votes in favor, 0 votes against, 1 abstention. The draft resolution has been adopted as Resolution 2767 of 2024. I now give the floor to those members of the Council who wish to make statements after the vote. I give the floor to the representative of Algeria.
Thank you, Madam President. I have the honor to deliver this statement on behalf of the A3+, namely Guyana, Mozambique, Sierra Leone, and my own country, Algeria. At the outset, we wish to thank the penholder, the United Kingdom, for its extensive efforts to reach a compromise on this important draft. We welcome the presence of the permanent representatives of Somalia and Ethiopia to this meeting. Today's resolution marks an important milestone in Somalia's pathway in consolidating state building and stability. We are confident that the deployment of the African Union Support and Stabilization Mission, AUSOM, will be a clear added value in the security landscape and a crucial support for the efforts deployed by the federal government of Somalia. Madam President, as expected, the issue around financing of this mission has been at the heart of the negotiations. The A3+, guided by the African Union, have expressed their support to the hybrid option for the implementation of the Framework Resolution 2719 as the only viable and applicable option for the case of AUSOM during the phases of the mission. We defended the path while insisting on the imperative to ensure predictability, sustainability, and flexibility. I repeat, predictability, sustainability, and flexibility of resources to be mobilized from the international community. The AU member states contributing already and naturally to the UN budget have accepted to consider a token financial contribution to the new mission in Somalia. This contribution is closely considered despite the financial challenges the continent is facing. The strong commitment demonstrated by the African Union on this file illustrates concretely the ability of the continental organization to craft African solutions for African problems. However, let's be clear. The financial contribution cannot go beyond the financial capabilities of the African Union. Madam President, AUSOM represents the first test case for the international community and its willingness to support the African Union in addressing its security challenges. Therefore, we have shown a significant sense of compromise during the negotiations so that we could reach an acceptable and fair outcome for all of us. This constructive spirit of compromise was motivated by the need to take into account different dynamics within and outside this Council. Also, the imperative to preserve and build on the hard-won security gains as well as the commendable progress realized by the federal government of Somalia have been guiding our common position. Therefore, our support for this text emanates from our deep belief that all ways must be explored to support Somalia's efforts in the fight against terrorism, in accordance with Somalia's priorities and aspirations. We supported this text while bearing in mind that we cannot afford a failure of this process that could jeopardize years of heavy sacrifice deployed by the troop contributing countries and their brave men and women on the ground. We seize this opportunity to pay tribute to the African Union and the TCCs for their Pan-African support to Somalia during the last 18 years on behalf of the international community, on behalf of this Security Council. Let's ensure together that this journey will keep moving forward and bear fruit for the people of Somalia. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Algeria for their statement, and I now give the floor to the Republic of Korea.
Madam President, I thank UK for its critical role as a panelist, and I welcome the representatives of Ethiopia and Somalia. Republic of Korea voted in favor of the resolution authorizing ASEM to support the regional and international efforts in bringing peace and stability to Somalia. We trust the newly authorized mission will continue to build upon the hard-won gains made by its predecessors, ANISOM and ATMIS, and prevent security gaps that could enable opportunistic terrorist expansion. Upholding obligation under the international law and ensuring full compliance with the standards of conduct and the UN human rights due diligence policy will be crucial in implementing its mandate. Adequate, predictable, and sustainable funding is critical to achieving these goals. We will welcome that this resolution has paved the way for the hybrid implementation of the framework established by the Resolution 2719, which the Secretary General and the AU Commission Chairperson strongly recommended. This exceptional funding model is expected to effectively address the chronic funding challenges faced by the predecessors' missions. We strongly urge the Secretary General to expedite the preparations for this framework, enabling the Council to confirm its decision in May following his report. The independent strategic review of UNSOS will also be crucial in supporting the potential implementation of this funding model. Throughout this process, compliance, financial oversight, accountability must remain paramount. Madam President, as a long-standing donor to Somalia since 1993, the Republic of Korea contributed to UN peacekeepers and provided both financial and in-kind contribution to AMISOM and ATMIS. In addition, we have also contributed a total of the $12.5 million bilaterally to African Union this year, and we are the 9th largest assessed contributor to the UN peacekeeping budget. We remain committed to extending our support to ASEM next year as well. Moreover, we have actively and wholeheartedly engaged these negotiations as a bridge builder and will continue to do so throughout our membership in the Council. I thank you.
I thank the representative of the Republic of Korea for their remarks, and I now give the floor to the representative of Malta.
Thank you, Madam President. Many thanks to the United Kingdom for their extensive efforts as penholder on this process. The resolution we have just adopted authorizes the new African Union mission in Somalia, ASOM, for an initial period of 12 months, alongside a reconfigured support office, UNSOS. We welcome this endeavor as it will further secure Somalia's long-term security goals, including the fight against al-Shabaab. Additionally, we welcome preparations made to this end, such as the CONOPS and the joint report. These have helped narrow down the key tasks, scope, and available financing options for ASOM. Malta supports the hybrid implementation of the framework established by Resolution 2719 as outlined in the joint report. This will enable ASOM to operate under a credible financial framework. As mandated by this resolution, we look forward to the next Secretary General's report to detail progress on Resolution 2719 under the hybrid implementation, as well as the independent strategic review of UNSOS. President, the European Union has been a long-standing partner in shaping Somalia's security architecture. Since the deployment of AMISOM in 2007 and subsequently ATMIS, the European Union has provided over 26 billion euros in support of their military, police and civilian components. Additionally, the European Union has provided 5 packages of support to the Somali National Army, totaling another 110 million euros since 2019. We will remain committed to contributing to ASOM while continuing our assistance to Somalia's security needs. Support to Somalia also requires the support of a diversified donor base, in line with the principle of burden sharing. Let us continue to work collectively towards this next phase. Thank you.
I thank the representative of Malta for their remarks, and I now give the floor to the representative of France.
Madame la Présidente, la France remercie le Royaume-Uni pour son rôle crucial dans la préparation de ce texte. Elle salue l'adoption de cette résolution qui acte la création de la mission d'appui et de stabilisation de l'Union africaine en Somalie, l'OSOM. Cette mission marque une nouvelle étape dans le soutien aux efforts de la Somalie pour lutter contre le groupe Al-Shabaab et, à terme, assurer seule sa propre sécurité. La Somalie peut compter sur le soutien de la France dans cet objectif essentiel. Cette résolution marque une étape importante en prévoyant la mise en œuvre de la première opération africaine de paix selon les modalités de la résolution 2719. La France a toujours été engagée en faveur de ce modèle. Elle se réjouit que le Conseil de sécurité soit parvenu à définir un cadre hybride et inédit de coopération entre les Nations unies et l'Union africaine. Cela témoigne de la capacité du Conseil de sécurité à adapter ses outils en lien avec les organisations régionales concernées. Madame la Présidente, la France tient à rappeler que l'OSOM devra continuer de compter sur les contributions volontaires des partenaires. Il importe que l'Union européenne, qui a engagé plus de 2,6 milliards d'euros à destination des missions de l'Union africaine en Somalie depuis 2007, soit pleinement associée à la nouvelle mission. Nous souhaitons que l'Union européenne reste engagée dans la limite de ses capacités et en complément du soutien du reste de la communauté internationale. Seule une réponse conjointe et coordonnée de l'ensemble des partenaires de la Somalie permettra d'endiguer la menace terroriste. Il n'y a pas de partenaires traditionnels ou non traditionnels, seuls des partenaires de la Somalie pour sa sécurité et sa souveraineté au XXIe siècle. Sur ce sujet, comme sur l'ensemble des points à l'ordre du jour du Conseil, la France se réjouit de pouvoir bénéficier du regard de la Somalie au sein de ce Conseil dès la semaine prochaine. Je vous remercie.
I thank the representative of France for their remarks, and I now give the floor to the representative of Slovenia.
Thank you, Madam President. Slovenia voted in favor of the draft resolution on establishment of African Union support and stabilization mission in Somalia, or AWSOM. We thank the UK for its tireless efforts in trying to find a compromise that would deliver a strong mandate to this new mission. We note strong support of this Council for the new mission in Somalia. All necessary steps described in the resolution adopted today must be implemented in due time, so that the mission could begin receiving predictable, sustainable, and adequate funding by 1st July 2025. Any delay beyond this date would endanger the effectiveness of the mission and have serious repercussions for security and stability of Somalia and the region. Furthermore, international community needs to come together to achieve fair burden sharing and mobilize necessary financial resources, including towards the voluntary portion of AWSOM's budget. Only if these criteria are met will the mission be able to implement its mandate from the first day of its deployment. European Union, of which Slovenia is a member, will, in line with its long-standing commitment to Somalia, continue to provide financial, in-kind, and logistical support to AWSOM. Madam President, let me finish by paying respect to all members of AMISOM and ATMIS. Their sacrifice in supporting peace, security, and stability of Somalia will never be forgotten. We commend the Somali people for their resilience and progress. It is our sincere hope that successful collaboration between Somalia, the United Nations, and the African Union will result in AWSOM becoming the last mission ever to be mandated by this Council to Somalia. We wish the new mission all the best in implementing its important duties. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Slovenia for their statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of Switzerland.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Et je tiens à exprimer ma sincère gratitude au Royaume-Uni en tant que porte-plume pour tous les efforts déployés au cours de ces négociations, ainsi qu'aux autres membres du Conseil pour leur engagement. Et je souhaite également la bienvenue aux représentants de la Somalie et de l'Éthiopie. La Suisse a voté en faveur de cette résolution et se félicite de son adoption. L'autorisation de l'AWSOM est essentielle pour consolider les progrès réalisés en Somalie. La résolution qui vient d'être adoptée souligne clairement la protection des civils comme une priorité du mandat de l'AWSOM. Dans ce sens, nous insistons sur le plein respect du droit international humanitaire et des droits humains par toutes les parties. La résolution encadre également le respect des normes en matière de conduite, de discipline et de reddition de comptes. C'est les principes de base que nous avons défendus à maintes reprises au sein de ce Conseil, y compris pendant les négociations. Nous saluons également que la résolution trace une voie claire vers un financement prévisible et durable de l'AWSOM par le biais d'une mise en œuvre hybride de la résolution 2719. Il est crucial que les préparatifs nécessaires soient entrepris par l'ONU et l'Union africaine dans les meilleurs délais pour permettre au Conseil de confirmer cette mise en œuvre à compter du 1er juillet 2025. Madame la Présidente, nous espérons que la transition de l'ATMIS à l'AWSOM contribue à une paix durable et inclusive en Somalie et lui permettra d'assurer sa propre sécurité. Et je voudrais aussi payer respect à tous les membres de l'ATMIS qui se sont engagés pendant toutes ces années. Dans ce sens, je réaffirme notre plein soutien à la Somalie et à son peuple. Nous resterons engagés à leur côté, bien au-delà de notre mandat au Conseil, pour construire une paix durable et un avenir prospère. Je vous remercie.
I thank the representative of Switzerland for their statement, and I now give the floor to the representative of China.
主席，安理会刚刚通过第2767号决议，授权由非盟索马里支柱稳定团代替非盟索马里过渡团，在索马里继续打击恐怖主义、保护平民等重要任务，充分表明了安理会支持索马里实现持久和平的决心。中方对决议投了赞成票。我要借此机会对英国作为执笔国的努力表示赞赏。近年来，在国际伙伴的支持下，索马里打击恐怖主义的行动取得重要进展，但安全局势依然复杂严峻。非所支柱稳定团的成立，标志着非盟在索马里维和进入新阶段。中方支持非盟同索马里政府就新特派团的过渡制定方案，希望下阶段各方继续通力协作，做好两个特派团的工作交接，避免出现安全真空，巩固来之不易的反恐成果。主席，安理会第2719号决议是支持非盟非洲自主维和的重要框架安排。中方一直支持尽早将其付诸实施。中方欢迎刚刚通过的决议，授权从明年7月起，根据第2719号决议，为非盟非所支柱稳定团供资。这是安理会为支持非盟自主维和行动迈出的重要一步。中方鼓励联合国同非盟加快筹备第2719号决议框架的落实工作，确保明年7月第2719号决议顺利适用于非所支柱稳定团，保障特派团资金的可预测性和可持续性。同时要看到，非所支柱稳定团在各阶段仍会面临巨大的资金缺口，可能会制约特派团履职的有效性。中方呼吁传统捐助方
继续履行责任，为特派团提供充足的资金支持。中方也愿为索马里的安全稳定做出自己的贡献。谢谢主席。
I thank the representative of China for their remarks. I now give the floor to the representative of Japan.
Thank you, Madam President. I welcome the presence of representatives of Somalia and Ethiopia. Japan thanks the United Kingdom as the penholder for its constructive engagements and tireless efforts during the negotiations. Japan welcomes the adoption of Resolution 2767, authorizing AUSOM at the critical moment for Somalia's security transition. Let me take this opportunity to pay tribute to all the personnel of ATMIS and the Somali security forces for their sacrifice. We believe AUSOM will play a vital role in supporting Somalia's goal to assume greater security responsibility and to promote peace and reconciliation efforts in close cooperation and coordination with ANSOS and ANTMIS. We also welcome the declaration recently signed between Somalia and Ethiopia. Continued regional cooperation is critical, particularly in the fight against Al-Shabaab. Japan further appreciates the incorporation into this resolution of the potential future implementation of the framework established by Resolution 2719 to AUSOM. Resolution 2719 has paved the way for a groundbreaking contribution to addressing the perennial challenge of financing for AU-led peace support operations, and thus supports and promotes African ownership. Japan, on its part, recently decided to contribute $3 million to the police component of AUSOM's operations. We welcome the Council's call on the Secretary General, jointly with AU Commission Chairperson, to accelerate preparations toward implementing the framework of Resolution 2719 to AUSOM, and to report on progress in this regard to the Council. Firmly establishing UN-AU coordinated oversight and accountability, and strict observance of the human rights due diligence policy, as well as the conduct of and discipline compliance framework, are essential not only for AUSOM, but the future application of the framework. Madam President, as Japan leaves the Council next week, we reiterate our commitment to continue supporting Somalia's endeavor towards sustainable peace and stability, both for the country and the region. I thank you.
Thank the representative of Japan for their statement. And I now give the floor to the representative of the Russian Federation.
Госпожа председатель, Российская Федерация поддержала подготовленный британскими неформальными кураторами досье проект резолюции Совета Безопасности о создании новой миссии Африканского Союза по поддержке и стабилизации в Сомали. Вначале хотели бы поблагодарить руководство и миротворцев переходной миссии Африканского Союза в Сомали за их службу и отдать дань тем, кто положил свои жизни за дело стабилизации ситуации в Сомали. Россия проголосовала за эту резолюцию, поскольку мы убеждены в том, что присутствие афромиротворцев в Сомали по-прежнему востребовано. У них имеется необходимый опыт вооруженной борьбы с Аль-Шабаб и приверженность международным стандартам в области соблюдения прав человека и норм МГП при проведении операций. Считаем также, что общеафриканская система командования и контроля подтвердила свою эффективность. Считаем важным не ослаблять усилий по стабилизации политической ситуации в Сомали. Федеральное правительство и федеральные штаты должны продолжить преодолевать противоречия и выстраивать общий путь по укреплению территориальной целостности и единства своей страны, несмотря на сложности электорального периода. Международное сообщество должно поддерживать эти усилия. Федеральному правительству предстоит направить свое приоритетное внимание вопросам повышения эффективности силовых структур с тем, чтобы по завершении работы АУСОМ они могли самостоятельно обеспечивать защищенность гражданских лиц и инфраструктуру на всей территории страны. Убеждены, что предстоящее заступление Могадишо на двухлетнюю вахту в Совет Безопасности ООН придаст дополнительный импульс усилиям Совета Безопасности по купированию угрозы международному миру и безопасности, исходящей от Аш-Шабаба. Согласованный Советом проект резолюции по УСОМ является уникальным в плане реализации потенциала резолюции Совета Безопасности 2719 о софинансировании афромиротворческих операций за счет бюджета ООН. Рассчитываем, что принятая сегодня резолюция позволит повысить предсказуемость, надежность и гибкость ресурсного обеспечения усилий по поддержанию мира и безопасности в Сомали при ведущей роли Афросоюза. Считаем, что Совет Безопасности сделал важный шаг в сторону демонстрации своего доверия лидерству региона в урегулировании кризиса в Африке и готовность к наращиванию взаимодействия между ООН и Афросоюзом в интересах международного мира и безопасности. Особо отмечаем твердую и консолидированную позицию Афротройки в деле отстаивания не только наиболее подходящей и рекомендованной Генеральным секретарем ООН и председателем комиссии Африканского союза гибридной модели финансирования АУСОМ, но и решения Совета мира и безопасности Афросоюза. Вместе с тем мы не можем не отметить, что на протяжении месяцев нам пришлось наблюдать борьбу тех, кто не хочет более финансировать миротворцев Сомали, и тех, кто не хочет брать на себя новые финансовые обязательства даже через механизм партнерства Афросоюз-ООН. На этом фоне заявление о поддержке африканцев и их чаяний выглядит лицемерно. В то время как вопрос, по которому мы так долго не могли прийти к согласию, составляет порядка 100-150 миллионов долларов, западное финансирование Украины с февраля 2022 года по начало текущего года достигло, по оценкам, 238,5 миллиардов долларов. Крупнейшим донором Украины за 3 года были Соединенные Штаты с 95,2 миллиардов долларов, Великобритания предоставила 13,4 миллиарда долларов, Евросоюз и его страны-члены передали Украине 94,2 миллиарда долларов. Из них 6,1 миллиарда долларов евро выделил так называемый Фонд мира ЕС, реформированный из Африканского фонда мира ЕС. Эта цифра скоро достигнет более 11 миллиардов долларов. Очевидно, что Африка уже давно не приоритет Евросоюза. Это должны понять и учитывать наши африканские коллеги на будущее. Несмотря ни на что, мы хотели бы поздравить наших африканских коллег и Африканский союз в целом. Важнейший первый шаг в плане обеспечения надежности и предсказуемости финансирования африканской работы по поддержанию мира и безопасности сделан. Со своей стороны Россия продолжит поддерживать эти усилия и в следующем году, когда вопрос о финансировании АУСОМ снова станет на повестку дня Совета Безопасности. Благодарю вас.
I thank the representative of the Russian Federation for their statement. I give the floor to the representative of Ecuador.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Saludo la presencia de los representantes de Etiopía y Somalia en esta sala. Mi delegación reconoce el valioso trabajo diplomático del Reino Unido que como redactor ha conducido a este Consejo a adoptar la resolución 2767, la misma que puede constituirse en herramienta clave en el camino hacia la consolidación de la paz, la seguridad y la estabilidad en Somalia. El Ecuador ha seguido con empatía, incluso antes de asumir su responsabilidad como miembro elegido del Consejo de Seguridad por el bienio 2023-2024, la legítima y de larga data aspiración de la Unión Africana sobre la necesidad de mejorar la previsibilidad, la sostenibilidad y la flexibilidad de la financiación de las operaciones de apoyo a la paz dirigidas y autorizadas por la Unión Africana, que se llevan a cabo bajo su autoridad con arreglo al capítulo 8 de la Carta de las Naciones Unidas, como reza la resolución que se acaba de aprobar. Esa es la razón central de nuestro voto a favor del proyecto sometido a escrutinio de este Consejo, así como la lógica de apoyo a los miembros del Grupo Africano en 2023 para que la resolución 2719 fuese adoptada durante la presidencia ecuatoriana del Consejo de Seguridad en diciembre del año pasado. La Secretaría de la ONU y la Comisión de la Unión Africana tienen ahora la grave responsabilidad de acelerar los preparativos necesarios para que el Consejo autorice la aplicación del Plan de Implementación Híbrida de la Resolución 2719. Señora Presidenta, a portas de concluir su mandato en el Consejo de Seguridad, el Ecuador reafirma su inquebrantable apoyo al pueblo somalí y expresa su aspiración de que la AUSOM, bajo el principio de titularidad nacional y con respeto pleno a su soberanía, contribuya a sentar las bases para una paz duradera y un futuro estable y de desarrollo para Somalia. Muchas gracias.
I thank the representative of Ecuador for their statement. I shall now make a statement in my capacity as the representative of the United States. At the outset, the United States thanks all the troop and police contributing countries for their service and sacrifice to ATMIS and AMISOM, and we pay tribute to those who lost their lives in support of those missions. The fight against al-Shabaab and other terrorist elements in Somalia underscores the serious nature of our task here today. And in this context, I welcome the participation of the representatives of Somalia and Ethiopia. Our decision to abstain on this resolution is not one we took lightly. Despite our serious concerns, I want to underscore that the United States remains committed to supporting and strengthening African Union peace support operations. Our commitment to Somalia extends over decades. The United States provides bilateral assistance to increase security, promote economic growth, and advance peace and stability, totaling over $1.2 billion each year. As the largest financial contributor to UN peacekeeping globally, the United States has paid, since the inception of AU peace support operations in Somalia with AMISOM, 1/4 of the annual budget of the UN Support and Stabilization Office in Somalia, providing critical, life-saving logistical support to AU troops and Somali security forces. The United States is also proud to have supported the passolution of Resolution 2719 last December, which broke new ground in providing a framework for this Council to authorize the use of UN-assessed contributions to support AU peace and support operations. The United States has long been a supporter and partner of the African Union and knows the valuable expertise the institution brings to managing conflicts on the continent. We supported Resolution 2719 not simply as a source of funding, but as a means of strengthening the partnership between the African Union and the United Nations. U.S. support for 2719 came about because we listened to and responded to a longstanding position of our African partners. But in our view, the conditions have not been met for immediate transition to application of 2719 in Somalia. Excuse me. Further, when the Security Council passed Resolution 2719, member states agreed that the UN-assessed contributions would fund no more than 75% of AU PSO annual budgets, with the remainder to be mobilized from the international community jointly by the AU and the UN. It is clear the Council intended for 2719 to apply to logistical support and personnel under a, quote, one mission, one budget, close quote, model. The resolution states that the UN-assessed contributions will not exceed 75% of a mission's annual budget, and cited logistical support as included in that, in addition to personnel costs. Despite this, the proposed hybrid model in today's text implies that the UN would continue to fully fund UNSOS through UN-assessed contributions, and that 2719 would apply solely to troop reimbursements. This arrangement would result in UN-assessed contributions effectively funding more than 90% of the aggregate mission cost. This is clearly not what Resolution 2719 envisioned. As we said at the time of 2719's adoption, and have demonstrated since through our actions and diplomatic efforts, the United States stands ready to work with Security Council members and the African Union to determine how the remainder of the budget would be financed. We cannot, however, vote in favor of a resolution that uses this new model without referencing the intent to transition to a consolidated budget, as was the case in Resolution 2719, and in keeping with the standard and best practices in peacekeeping. And for the record, we would not support a subvention or any other mechanism as another workaround to the intent of a resolution adopted by this Council in order to access additional assessed contributions. In our view, such an approach, however expedient in the short term, would run the risk of undermining the credibility of this new model over the long term. Colleagues, the United States will remain a steadfast proponent of the African Union's peace support operations and our partner, Somalia. We will do all in our power to support and strengthen Resolution 2719 as agreed by the Council as a tool, including by assessing the AU and UN's progress against benchmarks outlined in the AU-UN Joint Roadmap. We will support both institutions as they work to set up this tool for success, and most importantly, support Somalia in its effort to combat threats to its security and stability. Thank you. I resume my functions now as President of the Council, and I will now give the floor to the representative of Somalia.
Madam President, since it's the first time my delegation is taking the floor this month, I would like to congratulate you, Madam, on the excellent manner you are conducting the work of the Council this month. We welcome the adoption of Resolution 2767, which marks a significant step toward sustained peace and stability in my country. I take this opportunity to extend my appreciation to the penholder, the United Kingdom, and all Council members for their constructive engagement on this important resolution. We acknowledge the Council's intention to operationalize the historic Resolution 2719 through the current adoption of the African Union-led mission in Somalia, AUSOM, for 1 year. We look forward to the SG's strategic review in May and welcome the Council's call to implement the AU-UN recommended hybrid model in July 2025. This approach recognizes the unique operational context and reinforces the logistical support provided by the United Nations, which has been instrumental in the success of peace support operations. Additionally, access to the UN-assessed contribution of up to 75% can provide adequate, predictable, and sustainable funding to AUSOM, and significantly enhances the capacity to confront security challenges posed by Al-Shabaab. As we proceed with our technical and political engagements during this preparatory phase 1 of AUSOM for reorientation and realignment, we urge donors to continue to contribute to support the Somali security forces as well as the funding gaps of AUSOM in phase 1. Such support will preserve the hard-earned gains and enable the effective implementation of the mandate from the outset of phase 1 and lay the groundwork for the new mission by June. In conclusion, Madam President, I express my sincere appreciation for the collaborative spirit that has brought us to this moment, and look forward to ensuring that the promises made today translates into tangible benefits for the people of Somalia. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Somalia for their statement. I now give the floor to the representative of Ethiopia.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I congratulate you on your presidency of the Council for the month of December. I wish to commend the pen holder, the United Kingdom, for the great effort in facilitating the negotiation over the resolution that authorizes the transition from ATMIS to AUSOM. Madam President, terrorism is a rising global peace and security threat. Al-Shabaab is continuously enhancing its organizational and operational capability to inflict more damage on civilians and execute its aspiration of forming a regional caliphate. It's also joining forces with ISIS and other terrorist groups in order to create a global terrorist network spanning the continent of Africa and the Red Sea. Al-Shabaab has been expanding its recruitment reach and pushing for more territorial control. Its increasing tendency to collaborate with other global terrorist networks is a worrisome development. This is all the more concerning because terrorist groups such as ISIS are gaining a foothold in Somalia. This group appears to have a clear role to create maritime insecurity, including piracy on the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean. Al-Shabaab has also enhanced its ability to mobilize resources and finance from within and outside Somalia. It also acquires advanced weaponry and equipment. Madam President, the transition from ATMIS to AUSOM takes place amidst these uncertainties. We share the high expectation from AUSOM to positively contribute to Somalia's long-term stability while preserving the security gains made thus far. However, the transition will be successful only if Somalia's security forces are enabled to assume their full responsibility. National consensus within Somalia and unified regional front against terrorism are indispensable elements. Without such political and operational readiness, consolidating the security gains will be difficult to attain. We therefore concur with the Council's cautious approach that any further transition should be informed by a progressive improvement in the capability of the Somali security forces to take full responsibility. Madam President, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of the continued engagement of the international community. We are at a delicate stage marking yet another transition since the formation of the sub-regional mission IGASOM almost 2 decades ago. The international community has invested massively in this journey. The task, however, is yet to be completed. The concerted efforts of the neighboring countries and partners should not wane at this phase. Ethiopia, along with the other frontline states, has been at the forefront of supporting Somalia to rebuild its state institutions and assume its responsibility in the community of nations. Thanks to the ultimate sacrifices paid by Ethiopia's finest sons and daughters, alongside the sisterly troop contributing countries, we have seen encouraging progress over the years. We look forward to working closely with the federal government of Somalia that we trust will continue to be a committed partner in counterterrorism efforts. Ethiopia stands ready to continue its role in the post-ATMIS mission. Finally, Madam President, countering terrorism and stabilizing Somalia is informed by a shared regional policy of interdependence that aims at ensuring collective peace and prosperity in the region. Therefore, extra-regional actors that have no constructive role in the region and
and in fighting terrorism in Somalia should be advised to abandon their reckless pursuit. I thank you.
I thank the representative of Ethiopia for their statement. There are no more names. Oh, the representative of Somalia has asked for the floor to make a further statement.
Thank you, Madam President, for giving me the floor again. As you are aware, due to documented actions of Ethiopia in Somalia for the past 11 months, the federal government of Somalia has undertaken comprehensive review of its security arrangements as we transition from ATMIS to the new mission, AUSOM. In that period, our regional partners from 3 contributing countries have shown remarkable solidarity, pledging to maintain our necessary force of 11,000 troops of AUSOM. This commitment addresses any security vacuum created by Ethiopia while sustaining progress in the fight against Al-Shabaab in the country. In that vein, we emphasize that the current AUSOM troop allocations are completed through bilateral agreements which have been in place in November. As Somalia moves forward, we will continue to engage in future security partnerships that serve our national and shared regional interests. I thank you, Madam President.
I thank the representative of Somalia for their further statement. At this point, there are no more names inscribed on the list of speakers. The meeting is adjourned.
I have some swampland to send. Yeah, but aren't they, I heard they were going to consultations. Maybe. At least that's what the mom was going. Hey, what did Roman Putin ask you was, why did they want to switch back to that Wednesday? It was a different one. Okay. No idea. They'll find that out because the bank
Stakeout headset, stakeout headset.
I got it. You got it? Let me know if he wants me to walk to the. Okay, what's up? I just have Mark for a break. No, I just for a break. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Good. Yeah, they were just working on something with the board, making sure we can hear them. Oh, okay.
Stakeout headset, stakeout headset.